Onward to Block 4. You know what that means. Actually, you'd have no reason to know what that means, but you're going to find out very soon. After all the soundtrack fuckery they've pulled up to this point, they actually do exactly what you would expect with a pseudo-symphonic version of Bloody Tears. Perhaps a statement that this is where they're actually going to start doing some Castlevania stuff in this Castlevania game, as they also introduce bone pillars and Medusa heads. The dreaded Medusa heads. I always just take whatever damage is coming my way in this stage. Waiting for a safe moment is pointless, cause a safe moment is never coming. I even tank everything on original mode, where damage has at this point scaled up to 4 points per hit, the highest it's ever going to get. All worth it to get to the top of this room, and then fall back down to summon a secret Moai head, which is worth double what the secret crowns are worth. You actually have to fall from this highest platform in order to make it appear. Put yourself back in harm's way, but once I make it to that door, I am set. If I have less than 8 health here, I take an intentional death, but if I have 8 or more, I go to this secret room that is in no way signposted, and I get a bunch of collectibles, as well as facing infinitely spawning bats. From this platform, we can see a single candle off in the top left. Opening it reveals some much-needed meat. Then we have to carefully maneuver our way over there in time before it despawns. Then we can head over here for these candles that have every sub-weapon except for the stopwatch and of course the herb. We already had the knife, so that just turned into a heart, but we replaced it with the cross and then opened the final candle for a guaranteed double shot upgrade. And now we're free of those bats. Bats are basically the same as Medusa heads, but they have a much more shallow swooping pattern, which makes them much more easy to predict and deal with. Now we are replacing infinitely spawning enemies with immortal enemies. Red skeletons can't be killed, they can only be reduced to a puddle temporarily. And here's where those puddles are coming from, this weeping statue. They can spawn a ridiculous number of skeletons, but as long as you let them group up, you can knock them all down at the same time and pass without any problem. And this will bring us to a section that is traumatizing for me. We're about to come to a pit that has a easily avoided enemy inside of it, but if we take the time to kill it, and then we go to the higher platform and drop down to the first block where it was standing, it should summon another Moai head. But it doesn't. I have done this about 100 times, no exaggeration, and it has worked 1 of those times. And it was a practice run that I wasn't recording. I have no idea what stars have to align in order to make that happen, but I'm just gonna try and forget about it, and instead celebrate the triple shot upgrade we just got, because there's nothing better than being triple crossed in Castlevania. It's worth noting though that it is an upgrade to the sub-weapon itself, not to our character. So if we were to replace it with a different sub-weapon, it wouldn't transfer over, we would just lose all those upgrades. So touching that holy water would be disastrous. Touching the crushers is just fine though. But do keep in mind that this is the final stage of the block. The door we pass through at the beginning of the room is the last checkpoint of this video. Things like the crushers and the spinning blades are no threat on their own, but in this very long stage, they will eventually cause a death of 1,000 cuts, as they are intended to. Now we have to deal with these hyperactive skeletons, raining bones down upon us. They have the higher ground and they don't intend to lose it, except for that one. But this guy will assault us with bones as we try to climb the stairs, because that's when we're at our most vulnerable. Can't jump and our movement is very slow and awkward. No more skeletons, but a glass demon, who is afraid of us and is moonwalking away. The crosses will make short work of it. But the true threat is the glass shield it was carrying, which will now huck shards of itself at us until it is eventually used up. Our boss for this block is Medusa, who has been recapitated after her head has attacked us so many times. Her main attack is her tail, which is at least as long, if not longer, than our long whip. So you can't hit her without being hit yourself, unless you have a sub-weapon like the cross or the knives. She also throws snakes at you. They can be dodged if your timing and positioning are just right, but if she gets on top of you like that, it's like a point-blank shotgun blast in your face. Nothing you can do about it. So that killed me, and conspicuously dropped my life count by 2. Didn't need to show you my second death there, but I did need to show you me doing this entire stage over again, because this time I did it without taking any damage. Hell yeah. This does give me some time to talk about the concept of loops. When you beat Castlevania and many other classic games, you have the opportunity to play through it again with everything tweaked slightly so as to be more difficult. This is generally called a second loop, and Chronicles has the same feature, but it loops 6 times with progressively harder difficulty each time. Later loops do things like make the crying statue from earlier in this level also bleed from her nose and mouth, resulting in way more skeletons. But this entire feature was removed from Arrange mode. There's only the one loop, and in hard difficulty they add a few of those tricks. Here I scroll the screen by jumping to summon the glass demon while I am to its left. It still tries to back away from me, but this time to the right, where it falls to a lower platform and renders itself harmless. And after all that, I still managed to get hit by a rogue Medusa head, because the things are just that annoying. This is a lot of health to be going into the boss fight with, but there is one more secret. Hidden in this last block is more meat. So now I have full health. Secrets in this level make it so much easier. If only you knew where they were the first time you played through. Let's just quickly allow her to hit us with her final attack, which of course is a stone gaze. Does no damage, and also makes you immune to taking any damage, but it does allow her to get really close to you, which is when she's at her most dangerous. Because we died, the only sub-weapon available to us is the Holy Water, which is useless against her, because when she gets hit she goes into iframes, just like Simon. Won't stun her, won't do much damage, and its range is so short that it's risky to even try. But on Arrange mode, we can just damage race her and be fine. But it is a good thing we got that meat before we came in, or that last hit would have killed me. But now, Medusa is dead. It's not gonna stop her head from coming after us. Perseus will still be chucking curveballs at us from just off screen for the entire rest of the game. But it's still a relief to have such a difficult boss behind us. That was the first of many roadblocks on my casual playthrough. Now for the original rendition of this music, which is not titled Bloody Tears, but rather Bloody Tear. Gross.